Hi, everybody. Welcome to The New Normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. And today we are going to talk with MichelleO and SL369. You guys have met SL on several of my videos doing price predictions for crypto. She's very, very gifted. And she introduced me to MichelleO. And so we really want to go down that journey of awakenings and see kind of how we can encourage others to find their spiritual gifts as well. So be right back with SL369 and MichelleO. Hi, and welcome back. SL, I'm so glad to have you back joining us with the community and sharing gifts. And I thought this was a great way to kind of help encourage others as well. And you introduced me to Michelle. Michelle's great to have you on. Thanks so much for taking the time to come and share your gifts with the community and just encourage others. I'm really excited about kind of hearing your awakening journey.
Good morning, Lisa.
I'm sorry.
Good morning. Are we live, Michelle?
SL, go ahead. Lisa? We're recording. Okay. So go ahead, okay. SL. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, SL. Go ahead, Michelle. Oh,
thank you. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, SL.
We'll get this figured out.
We're in synergy. Don't you worry. We're all in synergy. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for having me here today. I've had the opportunity, of course, to know SL for some months, from quite a while. And I had such a beautiful experience with Lisa a little bit over a month ago. And I'm excited to be here, just being able to share, since there is such an awakening within oneself, to get to know oneself, to get to know intimately the oneself, what comes to that personal development and spiritual development as we reach beyond how we've been living in these current times within ourselves. So it really is an honor, and I'm most grateful to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about your spiritual gifts and kind of how you discovered that, what your background is?
Absolutely. So my family is from Prague. I am third generation in, and my great grandmother was a medium back then, obviously, with religion and the culture at the time that would be forbidden. So those gifts were held very sacred. When I was a little girl, I would have visions, little different than my grandmother. I'm more clairvoyant. So clairvoyance is being able, we have our different ways of knowingness. So it would be that I would see visions. I would have the capacity to be very empathic, so highly sensitive to feel the thoughts and the emotions, as well as kind of a clear audio to hear and to ground that as well. So combining that as being raised, you could imagine that I call it an outlier, being different from community and my peers. And my mom at the time would be very sensitive to me on how I would communicate this. So of course those gifts became very invisible to me. It wasn't until a crisis hit. Usually we do have those times in our life where we step over the invisible line of safety and we go into what I would call a time of personal spiritual gifts. Some call it the hero's journey. And when my son, I have twin boys who are now 25, we hit a tragedy when I was just a little bit over 30 with one of them. And at that point, my life seemed to collapse. Everything was taken away from me, from a marriage, from work, from job, a near-death experience of my twin son. So at that time, you're sitting there, I call it beneath the underworld. And there was an aha moment when I was about 21 years old. I had a gift at my birthday, and it was with a psychic. And she says, "You're highly gifted. You have a sacred gift." And I knew of that gift. However, at the time I was in the fashion industry, and I said, no, I don't want to embrace it. I have no desire to do the gift. Well, life then brings you on this journey. And at that age, I decided to pick up that gift. And so 24 years later, I have been doing sessions. So I do pursue a PhD in counseling trauma. I'm a clairvoyant, medium, channel, empathic. I study mythology, theology, as well as in Jungian analysis. Since the age of 13, I have been doing personal and spiritual development. I was raised into complex trauma. So I've had such an interest within my soul as it reaches very natural for me to develop and understand. I've devoted the last 20 years to understanding the shadow parts of humanity. And the shadow is coined from Carl Jung, dark masculine, dark feminine, what we have within ourselves. And we avoid that. We can't help ignore in today's day, there's a revealing of so much as life is dismantling itself before our eyes. So learning all aspects of ourselves is most important. So I'm very sensitive. At one time I did teach clairvoyance, and I will be getting back into that. And mediumship and channeling, as well as personal and spiritual awareness of self. And so when we're on this path of individualization and discovering within ourselves, we go into all aspects of ourselves. We go into both the aspect of the shadow, which holds things that we denied within ourselves or we're ashamed of. There's all attributes, and the light. And so it's really how I work with all of my sessions is the client in mind to understand who they are and to take a look at things clairvoyantly, empathically, and to have them choose what they want to do and to really teach them that they are the ones with their own intuitive gifts. I think as we look out into the future, this new sense of each individual discovering who they become their own individual intuitive gift, developing that, understanding it. There'll be guides and teachers for us to teach them.
Is that what, when, I'm sorry to interrupt, is that when we hear a lot about doing shadow work? My daughter is really building her spiritual gifts and really researching a lot of this. And she said, oh, I need to do shadow work. Well, that immediately sounds dark and negative to me. And so I was concerned for her. And she said, no, it's what her understanding was, it was more that self-learning. Is that how you see shadow work?
Right. So SL really is great in how she spoke about the declining of the ego. We have what is called the shadow. It's our subconscious mind. We have a conscious mind, which you and I are talking. I'm identifying with you. We're aware of our surroundings. We have a subconscious mind and an unconscious mind. The shadow aspect of ourselves is denied self. It could be the denied self of behaviors and attitude and choices and decisions that perhaps don't serve us. So maybe someone such as myself, maybe I was born into shame that became so twisted, and how I found safety was to make myself as invisible as possible. Well, obviously that's not going to serve me. It served me at the time. So through life, when we embrace and come to understand the parts of ourselves as the shadow self has nothing to do with anything negative, and we actually can hide our gifts in there. Maybe someone such as yourself, Lisa, or SL, you guys are map makers, you're natural leaders, but maybe in the time you didn't feel safe enough or you didn't have the confidence, you would put all that into the shadow until life brings us these experiences. And it's up for us to choose it, to do that work, to look at that work, to break down, because when we choose to integrate between the shadow and the light, all aspects in life, we will have it forever. We live in a life of duality, and finding that harmony and balance is most important. And so as we embark, from my theory, and especially that I'm a huge follower of Carl Jung and those who come after him, doing the integration between the aspects of our shadow, which I coin as the dark masculine and the feminine, and a moose enema within ourselves, integrating it into the light, we become whole. And that's an intimate lesson. What is wholeness? That really has to do with one's own individual process of wholeness. But absolutely, there's such freedom and liberation when we look at that and accept it and forgive and release ourselves from that. Then we're able to show up exactly authentically who we are in the world as we impact one another and live to what we choose to live by. So your daughter is becoming your teacher, actually, at such a young age.
I know. Well, and I can feel that. I know. I mean, we can talk about a little of my journey later, but I think that was actually one of the things that I've had several psychics or gifted people tell me is that that I have this generational thing with my mother, myself, and my daughter, and that at different times in our lives, the mother becomes the daughter, and the daughter becomes the mother. And so I wonder, is your gift, or do you see your gifts as, is it always a lineage thing? Is it always like a family tree thing? How does that kind of play out?
That's such a good question. I'm just in the baby stages. I'm 2 years into studying psychological astrology. And so those who are familiar with astrology, it goes beyond what sign are you and the sun sign. I think that's our comfort zone, but it's a very complex process to understand. Certainly so. In the intergenerational lineage, what passes through any DNA or any belief systems, because we belong to the soul family, the karmic family, and that gets passed in. However, in my family, it would have been secrecy. So hiding a gift would be the norm. So, and then a lot has to do with what your soul has come in to do, the complexity of astrology. We all have the gifts, but um, you know, it's really how we embrace it, since we have an aspect of all of us that is naturally programmed to be intuitive, to listen to ourselves, to listen to the body. That becomes the aspect of ourselves. Certainly so. Others may have, like anybody, has a beautiful singing voice, or such as yourself, has a natural ability to speak to the public, or SL has this natural gift of channeling information in the most authentic way and being the humanitarian to deliver that information in a new market, such as a new way of investing. And that comes naturally. So those gifts are being used in different ways. And so therefore I had to work through the process of me wanting to hide the gift because I felt shame around it, felt judged around it. Society would push me away. And some people do, some very, very aware of belief systems, and not to push beyond the belief systems, because humanity is still getting used to embracing the unknown. And if we're not familiar with something, we could have a tendency to reject it, to judge it, to push it away.
Yeah,
And
and people are
therefore,
definitely afraid of anything new or unknown to them. And I know I was having the same things, as I've had several psychics tell me that, I'm going to be channeling or bringing, and the words kind of get in the way for me sometimes, because they'll say channeling, and channeling can mean one thing to one person, but something to somebody else, I think. I don't know that there's a vocabulary, maybe there is a proper definition of it, but people were talking about me working with my daughter who's passed, to bring messages from children who have passed to their parents. And when I heard that, I thought, I don't want to do that. People are going to think I'm nuts, you know? But I know I connect with my daughter. I know I can talk with her. So it's very real to me, and I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of any of that. So I don't know why, but then is it because that was something new presented to me that then I'm like, oh, people are going to judge me for that, but they won't judge me about talking to my daughter myself. I don't know. There's just
no,
all of
there's so much confusion. We are we do have programs. We are programmed. We are conditioned since we were young. We have a value system in our outer world. We have acceptability on what society accepts and what they don't accept. We certainly do have the ability, because humanity wants to bond together. And when something new is introduced and we're not familiar, that brings change, it brings unknown, it brings uncertainty. And we could see what's happened over the last year or so with COVID, something I would say most humanity has never experienced in their lifetimes, in this present lifetime. So it is something that perhaps in times leading up, a psychic, a medium, and channeling, I'm very aware of the process of developing your skills. Like any skill that we have, I believe integrity is most important, being aware, using discernment, holding that, because we're impacting any word that we're saying, any thought, any information, we're impacting the world. And that holds a great sense of integrity. And therefore, when we think of channeling, I think there's different forms of how those imagings and how they affect. And so someone like you who has the possibility, I call our loved ones disembodied. So you and I are in physical form. We're, SL, you and I are in physical form. We're seeing each other. We kind of know our personality. We can identify. Then the disembodied are out of physical form. So they're disembodied, but the essence of them is still real. And so therefore, we put a separation between the realm of physical matter, and the unseen realm, which some could call metaphysics, but a lot of science is in metaphysics, right? We're identifying with science. And therefore, when you, such as yourself, and you and I had the pleasure, to do a session with you, you do have the gift, yes, as the mom to your daughter, to know your daughter, to feel. Perhaps she's able to give you some synchronicities, some signs, because we want evidence. We have a logical mind that says, give me evidence that this is real. So I can take this in, because could be so overwhelming to the psyche. How do I interpret this? And so someone like you, when given that information, you'll find the right footing to be able to find, well, how do I weave this in as a weaver woman, to be someone who has the capacity to help parents through difficult grief. And it is one of the most difficult griefs of any loss and grief. And we want to psychologically take that process to help ourselves, and then to be able to heal you. And because when we heal you, we're connected, we heal our loved ones or your daughter. And so it's how you embrace that without going, I have to do this. It's how will this come so naturally to me?
Well, and that leads me to the next kind of questions that SL and I have about one of the things you had said was, oh, she has plays hide and seek with you, or she leaves little treasures for you. And she has done this since she left. She leaves screws for us everywhere. We even ordered new luggage the other day, and there was a screw inside the luggage. I'm like, what? Why is there even a screw in there? So I've started collecting them to be that reminder. And one of the things SL had told me was to document things, that helps build your confidence, and to document. And SL's talked about automatic writing and some of those things. How do people, so first of all, did you have any formal spiritual training or development classes? And then how can other people work on their development?
Right, to how to grow their own gifts, because every single human being has, they come from the wholeness of their higher self, their soul self. So they all have, their intuitive gifts. I went to clairvoyance school for 3 years, mediumship school, and I've been in channeling school for 20 years. And then I do academic, of course, an academic university for counseling and psychology, for Jungian analysts, as well as mythology and theology. And I think what's most important, if we were to take a process, if you first acknowledge yourself, And then SL is so good at automatic writing. And automatic writing is an intimate space with yourself. I call them unseen friends. I know people call them guides and angels and your ancestors, and it's what you feel most comfortable with. And so, therefore, if I could just say unseen friends, all of those who gather around us to really be an assistance to our growth and our spiritual growth, so personal and spiritual growth, you find I have in one part of my home a very sacred ritual place where it's really devoted to personal time with myself, and I do prayers every day so that I can really be able to have that intimate relationship with divinity, God, Goddess, whatever you choose to have, your guides, your angels, your unseen
Is that
friends.
important to say a prayer so that you know you're connecting with God, your guides, your angels, so that and are you protected by saying that prayer?
Mhm.
Is that because it's frequency? Do you have kind
Yeah,
of
so
more
it is.
explanation
Yeah,
about how we
so
protect ourselves?
yeah. Thank you for that. We hear a lot about the law of attraction, right? The law of attraction, it draws onto itself a similar light. So, therefore, your intentions by a causation of a manifestation brings the law of attraction. And therefore, I suggest and always recommend an invocation affirmation. And that would be a prayer. And so, anytime I do a reading or if I go into prayer, I have an intimate prayer I do to myself. It sets up the alignment. It gives permission to yourself, your higher self, your soul self, or the different parts of yourself. Maybe you're working with the inner adolescent or the inner child. And then it gives boundaries around the seen and the unseen. And therefore, it really helps set intentions. So you set intentions to bring the highest possible frequency and vibration of your guides and those who gather. I encourage that. That's, a very important aspect because you're committing right now to a process that's deeply spiritual to yourself and those who gather. And so, I think as we move through a spiritual process, and SL and I have had many conversations about this, and she's really devoted herself, committed to herself to understand, her work, her shadow work. And that includes your shame, your victimhood, your martyrhood, your self pity, your blame, your projections, your perceptions, all of that work. I mean, there's so much what goes into it. And therefore, as we work with that, then we're able to really get into that space of growth.
Interesting. So, can channelers or psychics, are they, as you do the self work and the growth, are you able to predict anything, or are there limits on what you can connect with, or what are those kind of boundaries or parameters, or are there? I mean, could I just one day start asking you about crypto, or is that SL's thing, and why would that be SL's thing and not your thing, and
Right.
all of that?
So, I've been asked this many times in other interviews as well. Well, you're predictable and you can predict anything. As we know, those of us who work with the field, if you will, a quantum field of possibilities. There's a field that surrounds us, right? We're energetic, vibrational, frequency beings. And there's a field of possibility. Whereas perhaps as I do work with individuals, I'm more with the personal spiritual development, although I'll look into the potential field. So if I may say, for an example with you, Lisa or SL, I see, Lisa, you have a great potential to write. You have a gift that writes, and you could create something in our world that can help parents who, God forbid, lose a child and they're in grief and mourning and it hurts. And you have this ability to be able to heal both those in the living, the loved ones, and those on the other side. And so, therefore, predictability, we create our reality, right? So we create our reality, everything in our reality, every form is what's happening within ourselves. So I always say of the potential, because I multiple times, if I see something in one of my clients' field, I will say, well, I have the potential. Would you potentially I don't feel comfortable with you driving, there could be a potential DUI. So I just want to kind of put that out there. I may see it. And if they say, oh, I'm fine, and they get a DUI, there's that whole, is Michelle imprinting or what? But I think that when we have a strong desire, a passion, an expectation and an intention. So mine is to help the individual grow. I will use my gifts to look around, up and down, sideways, and deliver that. Whereas SL is a little bit different in that she is very connected to a grouping of unseen friends who has an interest in the direction of the market that she's in, where she seems to dream, all this information, and therefore she delivers this with authenticity. She does her research. There's no doubt she holds high integrity for what she does. And therefore, with this, she has a higher level of predictability. So it's very hard because, and I think it's important too, that any one of, as an SL or myself or even you, we give the information in a way that those then use their discernment and how it serves them. And I think that's what's most important, is that when we go into this healing attribute, we kind of explain what the session's going to be about. What are they looking for? What is predictability? Even with astrology, even though we have a chart and I have a chart in front of me, I don't do predicted astrology. I take a look at what the chart, what is it speaking to me? What are the planets, the signs, all that? What are they saying to me? And then I deliver that. And then I'll look at things clairvoyantly. So it really depends, because what if I say to you, Lisa, for an example, well, Lisa, you're going to make $2 million by X amount of time. Because, we go into the quantum field and there's no time space reality there. So
That's a
timelines,
great
get
point.
a little warped because we're in a time space reality. So you always want to say there could be, and you don't create that. Guess what's going to happen? Well, Michelle, right? Well, what if there was a part of your unconscious mind or the shadow aspect that didn't feel she deserved that $2 million, that she didn't really think she was going to get it? Guess what's going to supersede the part of you that has a greater belief that she wants it? The part of self-doubt. So again, SNL her and I go back to the belief system, know thyself, understand thyself as you start to create. So,
I think that her doing her shadow work, and SL, I really want to hear your thoughts on this as well. Kind of what, as you went through your shadow work, did that help you strengthen this bond and the way that you have your unseen friends? And then who are your unseen friends? You're muted, SL. Oh, did I lose her? I think you muted yourself. So you have to unmute yourself. Oh no. There's a little microphone.
Sorry.
Okay, there
I'm
she
back.
is. There she is. Yes, you're back. So as you kind of, Michelle was explaining a lot of this, this shadow work and how we work on ourselves and those, things in the shadows, and whether it's called ego or your inner child, all those things. And did you go through that process, and did that help you to connect with your unseen friends? And who are your unseen friends?
So before I answer, I live next to a construction. They going crazy right now. So if you pick up any noises, I apologize in advance.
No problem.
So I think I will. So the unseen friends that Michelle has been referring to, spirit guide. I call them my spirit guide, but Michelle call spirit guide as unseen friends because we cannot see them without naked eye. My shadow work, I think I did it in my previous lifetime on my ego. And probably I also have some spiritual gift in my previous lifetime. Then when I came to this earth, I have certain kind of personality. So therefore I can do this kind of work. So for example, cryptocurrency market is very volatile. And I don't mind that at all. Like the more volatile, the more fun to me. And when the market crash, I think it's fun. You know, it's on sale, I can buy. But for some people who hasn't worked on like emotions and how they view money and investment, and they how if they don't understand investments, I think if it crash, I lost all my money and there I go. But in my head, I say that's not how it works, how the market works. As long as you hold, for example, if you have like 1 million gigabyte, that quantity never disappear. Only the value of your gigabyte go down. When the market go back up, you know, your price, the value of your portfolio will rise. But a lot of people are very emotional when the market go down. Yesterday for some meme coin, SIBA and Akita, and I got a bunch of messages from my friends. And these people are traders as well. They're not professional trader, but like they trade. You know, they make money. I don't really trade, but I just having fun and watching it. And it's darn, I wish I had more money to buy more. But people have to said that I had to figure out how to control themselves not to sell right now because like they nervous and give them anxiety. Some people cannot handle the market because they give them stress. So I come into this life with certain kind of personality. Therefore, it worked really well with predicting and receiving crypto visions. And also, my other shadow work is that the way I view money. So the way I view money is fluid and abundant, replenished. So because of my life experience, I didn't have a lot of money growing up, just like a lot of average people. But I have a job. When I run out of money this week, for example, I know that I have a paycheck next week. So in my head, money replenished. And if I lost this job, I know if I apply for another job, I will get it pretty quickly. And that was the pattern for my life in terms of like work and finance. So I never scared about money. The third thing is
of that. I'm sorry. Is some of that because, like Michelle was talking about, in the quantum field, there's not time, and so if you work on your, which I want to talk about your automatic writing too, but if you work on your shadow work and start working on your spiritual gifts, do you get in that time warp where most people are very linear in their time, and this has to happen and that hasn't happened yet? And for you, is it maybe that it's all happening at the same time, and that's why it's going to be okay because you see it all at once, kind of that big picture?
I'm not sure how should I answer that.
I'm just curious about like how you see time, I guess. And does that affect
in
your
general or for crypto or for my
mindset?
life?
Good question. Let's say in general for your life.
I think in time it just I'm similar to most people. I'm similar to most people, like where.
And so does that affect, when sometimes you'll be giving a price prediction and you'll say, oh, this has a very strong intent, like you don't have the exact time, like it's not Maya with a Vedic astrology chart, but you'll say this feels like a few weeks or a few days, and then other things you're like, oh no, this is like a long future kind of thing. I was just wondering how that bumping into that quantum world and exploring your gifts, like does that affect how you perceive time when you're doing predictions and things like that?
Oh, So in terms of timeline, there's certain visions I can, I know will happen, that will come to pass in a short time, and then some of them will be the future visions, because my spirit guide and I have developed a language where they give me a prediction like 2 days in a row or 3 or 4 times in a month. Then I know that's their signal of this vision will come to pass quickly and it's urgent. That's why I'm telling you over and over again. They did that a couple times. So that's how I can determine timeline with crypto vision from my spirit guide. Yeah, I don't know if that I answer your questions.
No, I think that that is what I was trying to drill down to, I guess. So that's really helpful. And then Michelle spoke about your automatic writing. Is that something like, do you say the prayer to your spirit guides and ask them to join you in automatic writing, or is that more like an internal self work kind of thing? And what do you physically do when you're automatic writing? Like, what does, if you were going to explain to somebody what you do when you're automatic writing, what does that look like?
I have never formally like do the automatic writing, but things come naturally. So for example, I look at the market a lot. I look at the CMC, the coin market cap a lot. And then as I look at it, information just come through me, like from other dimensions. And then I just write it down on my notebook or something like that. What I mean by information just come to me, if I look at a cryptocurrency, right now the price is $54,000, Bitcoin is $54,000. Oh, it's supposed to be 57. It's like something I just know because they provide me information. And then I like, oops, Binance, the price too low. It needs to be for 6,000, for example. So the information come through very quickly. It's like without thinking, they provide me information without I have to think. It's just coming in like.
So you don't even you're not even consciously like removing yourself to not think. You just set yourself in that position and start looking at and just opening yourself up.
Yes.
I mean, has it been a process where you've learned to listen better, or is it easier to listen now, or was it always just like the same for you?
Okay. So when I first started out in 2019, they feed me information all day long. Like they just telepathically for the whole entire year, like 4 or 5 times a day. As I'm driving, do whatever, they just give me information nonstop. And then I track and then I trust them. So that's like first year. The second year, so I backtrack. Then the first year I start to meditate. As I meditate, I have like strong connection with them. And my intuition skill improve, and my empath skill improve. Empath is helpful with this work in a way that I say, oh, I feel in my body that the market about to go down, or I feel that Tesla need to go up. I can't explain, but I just got that information on my body. I feel it. Mm-hmm. So through daily meditations, magically I improve those skills. And then also my spirit guide work on my body on a daily basis. I got download and things like that. So they work on my body, realign my body, improve my intuitions without me asking them about it or knowing about it. So that's like been doing that for the past 2 years. So now,
and that's your shadow work or self work.
That's just a psychic ability. In terms of shadow work, I guess a lot of things is not important to me. So therefore, it's really taken care of. Because in my previous life, I work on a lot of shadow work.
You did
so when I come into this lifetime, all the baggage has already been removed. Like for example, some people either don't get along with the parents, or their parents don't love them as much, so they have to work through that emotionally, mentally, internally. Try to explain to themselves and try to heal themselves. I just understand the big picture. If right now I have a good, bad relationship with a parent or not, I just understand that They are who they are. I am who I am, and we cannot change them. We cannot convince them anything. They cannot change me. So therefore, I just live my life because I don't know the result. So therefore, I don't want to bang my head against the wall, trying to fix something that humanly I cannot do that. Only God can do that. One, two. When the time is right, they will change. And if they don't change, that's fine. If they don't change, that's fine, because that's the life lesson that they need to go through, and they sign up for this. We call them a contract or life purpose. That's them. And also, probably that's my relationship with a parent in this lifetime that I have to experience that.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a lot of things that I don't bother. Like I understood. Okay, another better
That
word.
you have
I
peace
understand.
with it. Yeah, you
Yes.
just kind of have peace with it. Because I know we were talking about my middle son and all that he had a very traumatic early childhood. We
Yeah.
didn't meet him till he was 11, and then now he's just really come into his own as a young man. And I remember we were talking. It was you and I and Maya, and I don't know if it was you or Maya. They were like, "Oh wow, well, something about his soul contract and what he chose to go through that." And it's hard to hear, especially when people are talking about children being in difficult situations. But I see what you're saying about how you look at something not without emotion, definitely with emotion, but that kind of it is what it is, and it is what it was meant to be, and kind of that divine part of it. But when we talk about, that we can all, or I believe we all are, some have gifts and we can develop these gifts. Are we changing direction of any of that divine pathway? Or I'm curious what both of you think about that.
So I never like dreamed to have this gift, and I didn't know that I had the gift into 2019. But 7 years prior to that, my spirit guide already gave me a taste that I have gift. I like, oh, that's cool, that's cool. I see different thing here, different thing. I say that's cool, and just move on with my life for 7 years. But then now I embrace the gift and share the crypto information with the community. I feel that probably I won't have it any other way, and probably I meant to travel down this gift. So when I was around 8 or 10, I asked myself, where did I come from? What's my life purpose? Like, that's my one question all my life, from 8 to like high school, college, and even after college. And my friends said, oh, our life purpose is gone. And that didn't answer the question for me. But in any case, so now I discover the gift and serve humanity. I feel that this is my life purpose. And I forgot.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So, Michelle, what do you see as people develop these gifts, and are we messing with stuff we're not supposed to? Are we changing some timeline? Are we, changing that soul contract that we signed up for, or is it just coming to fruition? How do you see that kind of playing out for people?
Right. Thank you. And SL so beautifully explained, and just knowing SL, she's so gifted and so authentic and so real. And so SL, thank you so much for that. It really, it does impact, and it brings such a big smile on my face. This is a very complex subject, because we as human beings are extremely complex, as you know. When we have lives in between lives, we do have past lives, thousands of past lives. There's no guarantees each lifetime we put in place. We're going to, since I'm in the beginning 2 years, and it's a lifetime of studying astrology, we refer to the South Node about what we've come in, what gifts we come into, what we've come in to heal, what patterns are we creating as we reach out for the South Node, which are obviously luminary moons. So then we work with, okay, what is our gifts? what are our soul contracts? We have destiny, and this is something that really stretches us. We have destiny and, fate. I work with the muses of destiny and fate and karma. And the big umbrella is free will. So let us say at this moment, this synergizing moment, we've come out of a new moon in Taurus yesterday. I pay very close attention to the cycles. The luminary cycles is important. Our natural rhythms of the planet has these rhythms and heritage. And so here we are today having this interview of getting to know one another, perhaps offering some information or clearing up some understanding with an audience as it's intimate with them. And therefore, this may have been something just brewing up. We're kind of made up of these raw materials as a human being of choices and decisions and attitudes and belief systems. And we decided to create this here today. Would it be our destiny to meet? Probably so. Was it fate? Probably so. But we have something, an integral key ingredient that we wear around our neck like a key. It's our free will. SL, you or ourselves could have said no, and therefore it would have altered the future. We do have soul contracts. We do have karmic contracts. We do come in from a karmic family. And as SL beautifully explained, I was born into a very complex, traumatic family. And I love my parents and my family extremely, extremely a lot. Knowing the soul understanding of my past as a woman of multiple lifetimes, I was shamed. I gave power away. I was humiliated. I was betrayed. Therefore, that would have been a huge purpose for me to uncover and discover and enlighten, and as well as transcend that type of healing so that I become more authentically who I am, share those gifts. We're always going to grow. What's very difficult, and I always say this to my professors, there will be no guarantees that we will choose to grow. I mean, what is that guarantee? We will hope that we do. So Lisa and SL, who you both are giving platforms to the world to use their voice and to understand something, because there's some yearning inside and something's, kind of bubbling up. And therefore that, like SL said, if I am in a, it's very difficult. Like if I had a partnership and I'm going, you're not keeping your commitments all the time, and you do this and you do that, they're not going to change. But what if I go, well, why am I bringing this? What in this is a reflection? This is my reality. I'm bringing you into my reality that you're not keeping your commitments with me. So where in myself am I perhaps not keeping a commitment with me? I start to change within, hold accountability, look at some of my actions, change it. And like magic time, everything starts to change in our reality. So it is something weird, like when you say, are we messing with something? Consciousness is consciousness, energy is energy. And life moves and twists by the actions of thoughts, emotions. I like to call them raw materials that we take in will alter. And so let us say that, perhaps maybe my soul wanted to be single a lifetime. And I go, I've really been able to grow. I want to kind of move into kind of creating in my life a meaningful, playful relationship, just as an example. I start to alter something. So we're called co-creators for a reason. As we get to know ourselves, we are 100% responsible for our reality and which we create. That's where SL explained very well, getting to know yourself. She has the wisdom and the understanding to know her past lives, know that she was able to transcend the ego, transcend the shadow work. We will always evolve. Life evolves. We're expanding and evolving all the time. Do we have to do it by hard lessons, like SL was saying? Do we have to do it like by hard work, those imprints? No, it doesn't have to be that way. What if evolution came where I said, there's this lesson of growth in front of me, like you, SL, and I coming together and exposing something very intimate. Well, I'm going to do something maybe awkward and unusual to me, but I'm doing something very important that I have a high regard to integrity about my belief system. And I hope it touches those who have the same questions. And therefore, we're serving perhaps the soul purpose, if you will. And that's a whole other subject, purpose. So with
Can you
this,
talk
yes.
a little bit about, before we wrap up,
Mhm.
can you talk a little bit about, you and SL have been friends for, like you
Mhm.
said, several months now, and working through, and you see what a beautiful soul she is.
Oh,
These guides that she has, who are they? Can you talk a little about who her
right.
guides are, or her
Right. And unseen friends. I do, if I can share a really quick story, and she doesn't
Yes,
even know the
absolutely.
story.
I'm going to say
So
yes, even though it's her story.
I know it's hers. No, well, it's my story. She doesn't even know
Oh,
about
good.
what I'm going to talk about. So, yesterday I had a client, and she was talking about SL. And I said, I know her, and she's so talented. She goes, she has impacted my life. She's so full of integrity. She's someone who really is servicing humanity. Is that not a beautiful word? I'm servicing humanity in the highest level. Imagine her impact. So therefore, when I have done sessions with SL, I see a collective group of guides around her. These are, I don't think that they've ever had any human form. They seem to be very energetic light beings, a highly intelligent form of collective consciousness guides, really aligned to her beliefs, her intentions, her vibration about the crypto market, servicing a new pathway in terms of an individual, her guides helping her with individuals taking their own authority, not rebelling, but authority in their hands when it comes to creating freedom, safety, security within money. So her guides work at such a very intelligent, fast pace. She's able to capture that information the way she captures it. And so her guides really, I would say, are a collective consciousness of a high vibration of wisdom that has come to deliver information to be of assistance, especially in crypto, and work alongside with SL. I would say this collective group could be 5, 6, 7. They, to me, they're like off planet beings. They're at a whole different level of multidimensionality that truly work with her at a rapid rate. And so she has the ability, her emotional intelligence, her sense of her spirit, to get that information, to see how it relates to her, and then to deliver it out to her audience.
And they choose crypto specifically to work with her as their way of helping humanity through SL. Is that correct?
Exactly. So, SL truly has a devotion, a passion, a love for crypto. And in that, they're not going to, guy, I know we have all these ways of saying, they tell me what to do. It has nothing to do with high vibrational guides, would never tell. It doesn't work that way. They're at a high level. They're non-personal. They're personal to our growth and spirituality. So they align with her vibration, her frequency of interest, and therefore they with her have a high intention to help humanity in the crypto market. There's, SL works with high integrity, and this information that she blends with her, I call her guides, her unseen friends, is really a form of information that is of service to help others. So it's really more of her vision. I think she wants to put a vision. She has this vision and focus in order to really be of service to others.
And a lot of it, so some people think that SL has a craft
Mm,
or ability, but it's really the information is coming from her guides, and that's why it's so accurate. Is that correct? And it's not a craft. It's more of a gift that's given to her. Is that correct?
This is true. We think of craft, we think of, skills or something. A gift is she's earned this gift, right? Because at any time we can choose to be disruptive, harm, take advantage. But a gift that she would have had to prepare for multiple lifetimes in order to bring this forward is truly a gift. And therefore, with her level of integrity and their level of integrity, she has a very high percentage,
Yeah, I think it's like 85% accuracy
of
or
accuracy.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
so
really does have that accuracy. Now, and she also, with her guides, SL knows the market really well. She looks at the trend, she understands it. She's so empathic. I've often said this, if I can share. She is so empathic, highly sensitive. She becomes one. She synergizes with crypto, and therefore there's an emergence, a synergy. She becomes one. Imagine that accuracy. She becomes it. She becomes it.
yeah.
That's someone that truly is working in the highest good of all. And she has no dark agendas. Truly, she doesn't. And a dark agenda is, what do I get out of it? Of course, she has, her sense of her visions, but time and time again, in knowing and seeing and doing sessions, and I can see if I'm reading someone and someone may not be in their highest good of all to their self and others, the aura does a little, that vibrates. So we can see when things aren't in alignment. She has a full alignment to really be able to have the accuracy and then help her members or the audience give that information out to see them succeed and reach their visions goals.
Definitely. Well, so where can we all find more information? I know, Michelle, you are in the middle of changing offices and updating your website and all that. But until that point, where can people find more information and contact with you?
Thank you. Yes, I should be up and moving into a wellness center. So excited. Yay. So I work at Awakenings in Laguna Hills. They can go ahead and go onto their website. I've been there for 19 years. My website, my social media, all that should be up and running at the launch of my wellness center in probably around January 10th to January 11th. So in the meantime, or my email is obornymichelle@gmail.com.
Okay, great. I really appreciate you sharing
No,
with us.
thank you. Can I say it was such a pleasure, truly,
Well,
Lisa.
we'll have to do it again. I think this is something that I would love to help other people learn and share, their personal growth as well. So, SL, I know you have a quick story, and then if you'll also give everybody information on where they can reach for you. Oh, yeah, I'll pull up this too.
Oh, that's a lovely story, Michelle. Thank you for sharing with the audience. A couple of nights ago, I got an interesting, I think it's a vision that I want to share with you, Michelle and Lisa. So I was looking at my Discord. I was reading my group. My group is on Discord app. So I was reading different things. And then when I lay down, my third eye, it has a movie inside my head. It's showing me the scene, a bunch of scenes from Discord. It's like I see a movie inside my head. It's kind of weird because I just look at my Discord app and then, I shut it off and close my eye and go to sleep. And then I can see different rooms and messages from my members. It's kind of weird. It's like I see a movie inside
While
my
you're
head.
sleeping, you're watching Discord. Was that actually what was happening on the Discord while you were sleeping? The movie that you were seeing?
I cannot read every single line or every single word, but I see different names and I see the whole app inside my head, and it's like it's like a movie scene. It showed me scene after scene after scene. It's like strolling. It's like, you know how Star Wars at the end, at the ending
Yes.
scene? Yeah, so it showed me like that.
Wow.
So I don't know what that is, Michelle. Oh, you mute, Michelle.
I'm so sorry. I love beautiful. What was the question?
So kind of weird. I don't know why my third eye picked up that up. Oh, and my spirit guide showed me that. It's like I see a movie. Like I just, basically I just, I'm right now on video with you guy, and like when I go lay down to sleep, I saw the whole movie of like this scene inside my head. It scrolling. So I thought it was interesting. I thought it was really interesting.
I almost could even view that as remote viewing. So you're remote viewing, it's to have an out of body experience and to consciously remember that, which it seems like to me that you're doing this is a rarity. Again, there we go again with one of your other gifts, that you're able to remote view, have an out of body experience, capture that information from your guides, SL, remember it, go to the medium that you need to do it and deliver it. I mean, that again is a tremendous gift. Because I always like to say you're dreaming, and when light comes, the light seems to take the gifts, right? We forget. You seem to hold them very well, SL. That is a gift because we get very distracted. So it goes to show you your gems, your basket of gems of these gifts that you have. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I want to share a story that with you when we were on the phone one time. I thought it was really interesting to share with the audience. We were on FaceTime, and you asked me some question, and then I answered. I forgot what I said. And then I was busy talking, but you were communicating with my spirit guide through your mind. You said you saw a bunch of number, like binary numbers, and then you asked them, what is that? Then they said, that is digital currency. The future of banking will be gone in 5-7 years. I thought that's a very powerful gift because I have never seen anyone can see my spirit guide with a naked eye, or you use your third eye, and you see them real time, while we in the sessions. So I thought that's a very rare gift that you have.
Oh, SL, thank you. If SL has, I do most of the talking in my sessions. I try not to, especially if it's first, but I didn't know SL, and I kept seeing like binary codes, and she became the binary code. And,
interesting.
and yeah, and it was interesting. I said, are you like I'm all new. She's teaching me crypto and, digital and all of this. And I said, are you part of this industry? I'm seeing this. Can you help me? Because I see these things, and so I'll ask the client, this is what, and then all of a sudden this information just download, and you were able to see the potential growth in this industry, and how SL, and you, of course, Lisa, as well, that you play an integral part of greater understanding. So, I mean, thank you, SL, but I must say you are just a gift, and a refreshing gift to the world, because you really walk with such value and integrity, and you make an individualized understanding their spiritual and personal development. And we all have access to spirit guides, to something much greater than ourselves, to growth and evolution. And SL, you just make the dance beautiful. You make it very, very graceful. And what's most important, I can say this, Lisa, and you can agree with me too, SL is full of so much love, is she not? I mean, there's just love at the bottom of everything. Like she's this wise woman, that she has this elegance that she would never, in maybe, there's been times where she has been hurt, or, something may have happened. She just has the elegance of wisdom and love, that she keeps walking through life with this beautiful essence of what can I continually help myself grow and evolve in others. So, SL, it's just right back to you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I know that before COVID, if people want to book you, they have to wait for like not a year, but like a few months. But now I think your work has changed because of COVID, and then now I think focus more on your business, right?
Yes. So before I was booked out almost a year when I was in person, then when COVID happened, I wasn't going in person. So and people obviously I like to think of COVID giving us a time to cocoon in. The antidote was to find a way of how we are either to adapt. Obviously, there's a lot around that. So now, Awakenings, I'll be really starting my own wellness center and to be able to teach. My path really is about teaching. And so thank you for that. Truly, thank you. But so you're right there. You could do all the readings.
I'll put the links to Awakenings in the description below. And then as you open your wellness center, I'll go back and add them to this video and we can do an update as well. I hope we get to do more of these. And then SL, we've got the best way for people to contact you is through Telegram, or your Patreon is really where you get the good stuff, I think.
Yes, the market has been fun.
Yes, it has been very fun.
Yes,
Here
it's
in our
wild.
household. Yeah, my husband is in all the chats and reading everything, and we've had some some significant positive things happening to us that it's just really exciting because it feels like a tool. Like when SL, you talk about how money is this flowing thing, and if these benevolent beings are giving this tool to these people that want to listen, I just got back from this amazing meetup this weekend with Bix Weir, Road to Ruta, my buddy Clint Westwood that does a show with me on Friday, and the amount of people that showed up with open hearts. And like Bix's son, Toby, who passed away also, he's like, Toby's telling me give more. And I think as we all give our gifts, and humanity can move forward. And so I think this is part of it, and putting those gifts and tools in people's hands like SL that then wants to further humanity. So you guys, I'll put SL's Patreon link in the bottom of this description below, and we hope to do this again. Maybe we can make this a regular thing, and help people and help humanity move forward. It's because we can all do that shadow work and learn about automatic writing and see what those gifts are and where we need to get the ego out of the way and heal ourselves, I guess, to move humanity forward as well. Well, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate all of you, and I guess we'll just see you guys.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Truly, thank you. You are so divine, and your voice and your ability, both you and SL, to hold that space. Because what is this about? It's healing, right? And helping us evolve and move forward. So really, thank you. It's been such a pleasure. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Truly, I give all the hugs.
All the hugs.
Thank you
for having us.
Thank you. I hate to leave, but we're gonna have to leave.
No, I understand. So everybody, if you're watching this video, please like it, share this video, subscribe to the channel that you're watching it on, and spread this love around, because I think that's the way we can heal all of us and move forward in humanity. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. I see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.